I never had a Game Boy as a kid, meaning I missed out on an entire era of handheld gaming, but that's okay. There's time thanks to the FunnyPlaying FPGA Build Your Own Game Boy Kit. Now, the whole concept of this product is a little confusing to me since apparently it's so easy to build that you can just do it yourself, and yet they don't want to do it. They do not offer the option to pre-assemble it and ship it to you, but realistically, I am pretty technical and I'm sure that I can figure out how to get the... Okay, I'm hamming it up, calm down, I can open a bag. Ooh, this is a perfect opportunity to show off our upcoming precision screwdriver kit for Linus, coming soon to lttstore.com. Let's have a look at everything that's included in our kit. We've got the Game Boy case, which comes in clear or black, or apparently a variety of other colors, but those are the two that we got, and I chose clear, and obviously this is not a Game Boy, this is a Game Boy Color shell, but it will apparently play both Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. Got some hardware. Got a FunnyPlaying 3.7 volt lithium battery. This is probably a screen. Apparently it is significantly brighter than the original not backlit Game Boy Color screen. I'm actually gonna save that peel until later. These are the membranes and these are the buttons. They apparently strongly recommend trying it out before assembly, which I guess makes sense. That's something we can do. And then we've got the main board itself. This is the star of the show, featuring contact pads for all of our buttons on the face, and coming around to the back, an FPGA processor that makes this not so much an emulation machine, more of an actual Game Boy / Game Boy Color, because FPGA is short for Field Programmable Gate Array, and on a hardware level, this chip can mimic the functionality of those devices, not emulating them in software, but becoming them, which is incredibly cool given the price that this comes in at, a little over $80 for everything that you see in front of you, not including the precision driver kit. Honestly, even if I had a Game Boy or a Game Boy Color, this would be very attractive to me because all of a sudden, I can charge with USB-C. Oh, not to mention, apparently the speakers are quite a lot better. Where are they? Ah, yes, speaker. Sorry, did I say speakers? Because I meant speaker. Now, something to note is unlike a console, you're not gonna get the same kind of standby battery life. Our friends over at Retro Game Core found that they lost about 50% of the remaining battery being in standby for just 8 hours. And their suspicion is that is because the game is still running in the background, albeit at a lower power mode. We've got a couple more ports here. We've got our volume rocker as well as our EXT port, which I guess if you were one of the very few people, I didn't know anyone who had one. If you were one of the very few people that had one of those link cables, you could they use it for multiplayer games? You could definitely share Pokemon with it, and I never knew anyone who did that. We've got our power switch over here, our game cartridge slot. It takes both Game Boy and Game Boy Color modes and can emulate each of those consoles separately, and that's worth noting because even though you could run Game Boy games in a Game Boy Color, it would behave slightly differently in some cases. And now I think it's time to go ahead and put this thing together. I'm thinking I'll just like kind of start at the front here, and hopefully I don't screw this up too badly. Is this keyed? Oh yeah, look at that. It's keyed. You can't screw it up. Oh yeah, look at that. Can only be assembled one way. This is going great, I hope. Now we're gonna put the FunnyPlaying speaker in here. Any particular orientation they want for this, or? I'll figure it out, don't tell me. Is there a cover on this thing? Why'd you put a cover on there, FunnyPlaying? You guys FunnyPlaying with me? I think I've got everything in. It's time to screw this up. I've screwed in. Oh yeah. Can he assemble the whole thing while it acts as a fidget spinner? Nope, I'm gonna need the spinny top. Oh, that's kind of cool. So the IR emitter is optional, and I guess we don't have it, right? So I'll just, I don't know, I could put either one of them in, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna put the clear one in. Why are some of these screws tri-wing? Dang it, FunnyPlaying. We don't like that about Nintendo. Don't copy that. Okay, wait a second, hold on. Whoa, there are a lot of really different screws here. What is this long Phillips head that I put in here? Oh dude, did I just drive that through the entire? Okay, no, I got this. No, I didn't drive all the way through, it just left a mark. Let's just put the battery in. What could go wrong right now? So those two go through the shell. I'm gonna say the tri-wings go through the back of the chassis here, And I'm gonna say the 3 Phillips heads go anywhere where there isn't a hole in the back of the chassis. We good? We good. Oh, well that's fine. Because the battery just sits in here anyway. There's even a little recessed thing for it. This is totally fine. Oh man, I was all, oh no, I'm gonna have to like put the battery here and there's gonna be a screw sticking into it. No, this is great. Yeah, guys, I mean, okay, yeah, sure. The instructions might be nice if they were a thing that existed, but realistically, if you're reasonably savvy, or if you watch this video, you could probably put this together for yourself. Would you guys believe that both Belle, who's sitting here producing for this video, and Andrew, who's shooting it, are skipping our LAN? I bet if you worked here, you wouldn't skip the LAN. What kind of person is like that? Even our CEO, Taryn, is coming to the LAN. You're not coming to the LAN? What a dick. That's the problem with executives. They think they're too good to mingle with us common people. There we go. Tighten this boy up. Oh yeah. Okay, make sure that switch is working. There's our, oi! It makes sense. That would make sense. That would power it on. I just want to see this screen power on before I put in the rest of the screws and commit here. Ah, okay, cool. You have the lift up at the back style, the little black part there. You just give that a little lifty lift without touching the actual PCB with any metal. And then this boy, I already peeled the adhesive on it, so I assume it's gonna go in a little something like that. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of expecting it to do some, oh. Hey, there was no game in it, I figured it out. And that's gonna come off a little something like that. Oh, sick. I just built a Game Boy. I am qualified to work at Nintendo's factory in the year 1983. Wait, who brought this video to you? Oh, it must have been our sponsor. JLC PCB. Thanks to JLC PCB for sponsoring this video. If you're looking to customize or even create your own Game Boy motherboard, JLC PCB is the perfect place to order your PCBs. They offer one-stop services including PCB manufacturing, PCB assembly, and component sourcing, catering to all your needs. And JLC PCB has over 5 million users with turnaround times as fast as 24 hours, making them a great choice for engineers and hobbyists who are looking to get high quality PCBs. Right now, they're running a promotion on 6-layer PCBs and a mid-year mega sale event. Click the link below in order to learn more. Let's play a video game, shall we? Okay, what do we got for games? Oh, we got Super Mario Land, not to be confused with Super Mario. Okay, oh, Kirby's Dream Land. This is the one Game Boy game that I actually have hours in. Oh, let's do this thing. Wow, the Game Boy to Game Boy Color experience leaves a lot to be desired, doesn't it? Let's push the volume button to access our, ooh. Different display modes. Okay, this is pretty cool. You can adjust how it scales. So right now we're using ×4 integer scaling, but we can also stretch it if we don't want as true of a representation. You know what, I'm stretching it. I'm sorry, purists out there. We can just switch to the Game Boy Core. That's probably for the best right now. Okay, backlight. Oh man, this is sick. Get all my little adjustments in here. Frame Mix and GB Color Fix are apparently fixes. If your game doesn't work properly, then you can kind of try that. And then the speed can be adjusted. You can update the firmware just by plugging in via USB-C and just dragging a new firmware file over, which is pretty freaking cool. And I never showed you guys the headphone jack at the bottom before. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna switch to Game Boy mode. Whoa, it's even green. Ah, that's so cool. No, don't. I'm gonna die. Okay, let's try Game Boy Color game. And you wanna compare to an actual Game Boy Color, right? Wow, I forgot how small and crappy that screen was. How's a D-pad compare? I mean, this poor thing is like 25 years old, so. Yeah, it's pretty mushy. This is definitely better. AB buttons feel pretty similar. Start select buttons, a little better on the original. The ergonomics match very closely. It's clear that Nintendo's plastics are a little better even after all of these years. Just things match up a little bit better. But man, yeah, USB-C versus this stupid DC barrel port. Here, do we have another Game Boy Color game? Yeah, we got something. Let's just throw this in here just to show you guys. Cause this was not even a backlit display. Like it's color, but it's a reflective LCD. Like man, you wanna play your old Game Boy Color games. Ew, no question. This is awesome. Yeah, let's go to, I don't know, World 6, sure. I got this, don't even trip, dog. Speakers are pretty sick on this, actually. It's always a good sign when we get distracted playing video games compared to, whoa, that's really loud. The whole chassis vibrates, man. I'm gonna beat one level, okay? That's all I ask. What, he moved up? Oh, game over? No, I don't rage quit. Ah! Ah! All right, let's have a look at a more premium option, the Analogue Pocket. Oh, hey, it's worth mentioning that compatibility with flash cards is somewhat limited on this one. You gotta make sure you get one that works with it. What we suspect it's due to power constraints or something like that, possibly. I don't think we know exactly why that is, but just watch out for that if you're planning to use flash cards as opposed to using actual games like a good little boy, like we do. This is a really nice display, and it's nice to have the extra size. Whatever my wife might say, it really does make a difference. It's really heavy though. Really freaking heavy. This is actually the first time I've used this thing. It's like, I know it's kind of like a big deal device and all that, but we can all agree on is that this is terrible, okay? And either of these, or basically anything, is much better. Let's talk value. The Analogue Pocket is obviously our premium option. It gets more battery life, it's got a bigger screen, the build quality feels noticeably more robust, and it's more powerful, not just playing Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, but also playing other retro console games, hence the 4-button layout compared to the 2-button layout of our FunnyPlaying. However, it costs, now what's that work out to? It costs well over twice the amount at over $200 compared to this thing being around $85. Yeah, you gotta build it yourself, but I think I just showed you guys, you can probably do that in anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, depending on your level of skill. Now, where the Game Boy Color comes in is around 60 US. Why would anybody ever buy this then? Okay, so just don't do that. Yeah, there's no way that I would consider this. And honestly, unless I really wanted the flexibility of playing those other consoles, I just don't see how I would take a device that's this big and this heavy compared to how pocketable this is. Yeah, this is flipping awesome. Just make sure you get a compatible multi-card if you're a filthy pirate. See you later, subscribe to ShortCircuit.